Hey everybody, it's Timothy here again, and we're getting ready to go live on Twitch for the Queen Elizabeth Piano Competition final round. Super exciting, I know. Each night we're going to be joined by a past laureate of the competition to have discussions and conversations starting Monday with Remy Janier, Tuesday with Takashi Sato, Wednesday with Mariangelo Vacatello and Christine Lee, Thursday with my own brother Nikki Chooi, Friday with Henry Kramer, and Saturday with David Fung. We're also going to have exclusive interviews with the finalists themselves right off the stage, so make sure you don't miss that. Also going to have special guests, inspiring guests such as Marian Aslov join us in conversation. So make sure you join us and follow us on the Twitch channel and you won't miss a beat. I'll see you there. Hey everybody, it's Timothy here again, and we're getting ready to go live on Twitch for the Queen Elizabeth Piano Competition final round. Super exciting, I know. Each night we're going to be joined by a past laureate of the competition to have discussions and conversations starting Monday with Remy Janier, Tuesday with Takashi Sato, Wednesday with Mariangelo Vacatello and Christine Lee, Thursday with my own brother Nikki Chooi, Friday with Henry Kramer, and Saturday with David Fung. We're also going to have exclusive interviews with the finalists themselves right off the stage, so make sure you don't miss that. Also going to have special guests, inspiring guests such as Marian Aslov join us in conversation. So make sure you join us and follow us on the Twitch channel and you won't miss a beat. I'll see you there. Hello everyone, welcome back to the second night of the official Queen Elizabeth competition on Twitch. We're super excited about this new collaboration with Twitch. It's super exciting because, you know, we don't have an audience available in the hall. So in order for you to get the insider news, the juiciest things that are happening, we're on Twitch talking with past laureates, and just seeing what we're thinking about as we're watching the concert and everything that's been going behind as well. So for those of you who are just joining in, please let's show some enthusiasm and put in the chat box where you're watching this from. I'm in Canada right now, and I know there's a lot of people from Belgium watching from last night, from France as well. But where are we from? Okay, let's see. Where do we have things coming? Hello, everybody. Okay, we got a few from Belgium. Belgium like yesterday. He. Okay, so we got one Belgium, one Canada. Anybody else from anywhere else? All right. All right, let's just wait a little bit until Brazil. Wow, Brazil is such an awesome place. How are things in Brazil right now? I've always wanted to go to Rio. Belgium. It's awesome. I'm also wearing official Twitch colors because Twitch is purple, right? My favorite color is purple. I don't know. Under the Reign of Belgium. Sojourn, New Jersey Shore, Jersey. Okay, Holland, Italy, Belgium. This is great. We're getting a real international audience right now. That's awesome. All right. So as you guys put your places of where you're watching this from, just a little introduction about myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Timothy Chooi. I was a second prize winner of the last edition of the Queen Elisabeth competition for violin back in 2019. We skipped a year last year because of COVID. That was a real tough one. I think that was the first time that we had to skip one since World War II, I think. But, that was the last edition. It sounds like such a far event, but also it's just right around the corner at the same time. And I'm here for all 6 nights. We did one yesterday already on Twitch, but I'm here to host the Queen Elizabeth competition on Twitch. We're going to have a special guest every single night, which is going to be a past laureate of the competition. It's going to be super cool because it's bringing everybody back together. And also we're going to share some insights about what was going on in the competition and probably kind of just assuming what the contestants are also feeling at the same time. And for tonight's show, we're going to have Takashi Sato join us. He was a laureate of the Queen Elizabeth competition in 2010. Takashi, thank you so much for being here with us. We'll be back with you in a couple of minutes because I'm going to be introducing what this competition exactly is. It's an international competition for young violinists, not young violinists. When I did it was a young violinist, but young musicians. This year is for piano. So young musicians who really want to have an international career. It's in Brussels in Belgium. Last year didn't happen because of COVID, but we had to delay it. So now the piano edition is happening in 2021. So everything's pushed by 1 year. Next year will be cello, then back to singing, and then violin. So we're going to be talking about what we ate when we were at the Chapelle. What was it like to prepare for the competition? We're going to do some commentaries of the finalists. We're going to have an exclusive interview with the finalists of each night. So that's going to be right after he performs tonight. Discuss just, what we've been doing over COVID as well. So you know what? Let's have fun. Let's have fun and just chat about music, chat about what's been going on, chat about what's going on the competition as well. Feel free to ask any questions you want about me, the competition, the competitor, Takashi. I can save some of the questions for later as well, and I'll direct them right at our finalist. All right, so Takashi, why don't you join us on here now, and let's talk a little bit about yourself. How are you doing, Takashi?
Hi, Timothy. I'm okay.
Where are you calling from right now?
Well, I'm in Japan, in Saitama near Tokyo, at my home.
Wow, I've always wanted to go to Japan. It's one place that I actually kind of planned to go in 2020, but that did not work out.
Oh,
but maybe
really?
2022. Yeah, 2022,
yes.
Hopefully. Yeah. Can you just introduce a little bit about yourself, what you're doing right now, and just for those of us that don't know who you are exactly, why don't you just give a short, brief introduction?
Yes. Yeah, I'm Takashi Sato. I'm a Japanese pianist, and I was one of the laureates of the Queen Elizabeth competition in 2010. And from 2012, I became an official pianist, accompanist for the violin competition of the Queen Elizabeth. So I played with you, Timothy, 2 years ago there.
Yeah, and you also played with my brother.
Yes.
You also played with my brother. He told me because before he asked me, "Who's your pianist?" I said Takashi, and then my brother's like, "Oh, that was my pianist. He's awesome." So I was like, yes,
"Sure,
okay, I have Takashi now." It's like I caught the right one.
Caught the right fish. My candidate. Yes.
That's great. So why don't we share a little media of us playing together so they can see us in action?
Oh, great.
I remember this.
Oh. So there is a comment from Aaron Korea, and what piece is this? So this is a violin sonata by Edvard Grieg.
Yes, this is the first movement of his third violin sonata. I remember it's one of your favorite pieces. You played this a lot in Japan. You sit with pronounce his name, Henry Kragerud?
Who? Henry Kragerud. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. From Norway. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for your question, Aaron Korea. Keep these questions coming in. We love to hear from you guys and love to interact. So really, this is an open chat box, especially now when we're still getting ready for tonight's contestant. Oh, I love this melody. All right, awesome.
Yes.
So tonight's contestant is Tomoki Sakata. Who is he? He was born in Nagoya, Japan. He's 27 years old, same age as me. I wonder if he's born in 1993, just like me. He began learning the piano at age 5 and started improvising and composing at 6 years old. So let's just watch his portrait and see what he's up to during the past week.
Sure. Like this, I don't know. It's I just have no control and I cannot see it, and even this is so hard. My name is Tomoki Sakata, finalist of the Queen Elisabeth Competition. I'm from Japan, now 27 years old. And well, I normally live in Germany, but because of the situation, I spent more time in my native country. But yeah. The piece I love, of course, bring me a joy. The opening is very dark, but it's like full of glory, and I really love it. It's very serious music, but at the same time, at the end, you overcome to the difficulties. It's just really a masterpiece, I would say. I very much like Pocket Monster, which is quite famous, and then. It starts with this one. This was the original theme, the Nuovo Paradiso. It's a very touching movie, and also the melody. I mean, the music itself is so nice. There's a technique called glissando, which is we just play the keyboards with nails, and then. If you're playing it with one note, it's no problem. Like double notes is fine. And now I tried once, it was like 4 notes together. I never saw it in the music, of course, but because I invented. But it's quite interesting to see, so I will just try out a little bit.
Twitch, and I think this is a great beginning. Awesome.
Something like
Thanks for your questions, Shola.
This is
Carly.
it's quite impossible, but it's fun to just try out. Yes. Well, for example, like playing the scales is no problem. If you do like this, that would be a bit problem, but it's still okay. how about like playing like this? I mean, like it's really impossible, literally. I mean, like I've never tried it. I just tried it, so I don't know if I could do it. But yeah, yeah, it's quite weird. Something between nervousness and then curiosity. Pianist is in a way very difficult because we always have to play the instrument which we are proposed on the stage. Like, for example, violinist or cellist, they could bring their instrument. We have to adapt ourselves to the instrument and to bring out what we want to bring out from the instrument. So that's quite difficult. Yes, that's a difference between others, perhaps. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's
Yeah,
it's
you
pretty
see,
awesome. I mean,
he's very funny guy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. So yesterday when we had Vitaly with us, he was also playing music from Star Wars, and then now with Tomoki, he's playing music from Pokemon, and I grew up with both. So me da, 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 and then the Pokemon as well. I grew up with that. It's just so powerful that these people, even we're such serious classical musicians, we still have parts of us that are like kids. Do you have anything like that, Takashi? I know you compose as well, so you can share with us what is your style of composition? What kind of music do you like listening to?
Oh yeah, other than the classical music, I love the Japanese pop songs, and I also composed some of the songs in my student times. And but I like to listen to every music, like world music and also jazz. But I don't play jazz like him.
Playing jazz is really hard, I find.
Yeah?
Jazz music I find very difficult.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have a question here from Ganton Neg. Even though he doesn't play Eminem, he is so talented. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe tomorrow, the next contestant can show us an Eminem. All right. So I'm just going to pull us into, because we're getting ready for the concert pretty soon. And, with Queen Elizabeth, we're extremely famous, right, for having that compulsory piece at the beginning of the final round. And that is such a crazy component of the competition, because every competition has their own challenges. Some of them is 2 concerto, like Tchaikovsky violin concerto or piano, or all the competitions, they ask for 2 concertos. But Queen Elizabeth is special because they ask you to learn a new piece that no one has seen before 7 days before you go on stage. Right, Takashi?
Yes, that's right.
So Tomoki is going to be playing the piece Dans Jardin Féerique, composed by Bruno Mantovani. And we heard a little bit of that yesterday. I think I need to hear it again. Did you get a chance to listen to that at all yesterday, Takashi?
Not really. I was watching your streaming last night. So
yeah, I think we spoke a little bit too much. So maybe we'll let the audience hear a little bit more of this piece. But I have the score with me, and it looks very difficult.
Really?
So it does. So Takashi, why don't you tell us, when you were getting ready to go for the final round of the competition and you got the score, what was your first impression? Can you just tell us a brief impression of what you were going through in your mind when you saw that piece for the first time?
Oh yeah, I thought that it's not so difficult, it's okay to understand, I think. And it was and the time I got the score, we don't know who composed that is Mr. X or Mrs. X. We don't know the name of the composer. And the day of the meeting with the composer, a Korean, very young composer came, and he was even younger than me. And his name was Jo Min-jae. And his music was really, kind of a movie music, and also very modern and sometimes very shocking. And I love it very much from the first impression.
How long was it?
It was around 10 minutes or yeah, 11 or something like that.
That's not bad. That really is not
Yeah.
bad. I mean, I assume so. Was it actually very difficult at the end, or was it challenging technically, or was it more? Because with
Yeah.
any modern piece, for all of you that are joining in,
Mhm.
contemporary music is, in some ways, it's not always technically difficult in the sense that, you know, I mean, it can be, of course, but the challenge, I
Yes.
think, when you have a new piece is always trying to communicate the new work into something that we can make a story and interpret it into. So when you got the piece and you said it was not so challenging at first, but after the 7 days, did you find it your decision of that changed, or was it still,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not bad. I'm gonna go on stage and have fun.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah. So,
And we
all
can
right,
discuss each other in the chapelle, with our
that's
other
true.
finalists, and we are kind of, advising each other. Oh,
Exactly.
I found a better fingering for this passage or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so the jury members are coming out now, and
Yeah.
this is very iconic of Queen Elizabeth competition. Every single time, even with audience, they would walk just before in a row, in a queue together, just like this. And this is
Yeah.
so weird to see a little bit because there's no audience, but there is the chairman right there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, there's Queen Matilda and King Philippe. Oh, a question from GWLU. Are you allowed as candidate to challenge the composer, I mean, discuss about notes tempi? When I did it, yes.
Oh,
We had an
yes, yes.
opportunity to talk with the composer and say, what are you doing here? And then he would say, oh, you know what? I don't like this, so change that around. Oh, we only
Hmm.
have the queen today, actually, not the king. Oh, well. Yesterday we had both.
Hmm.
All right, so there she's going to be announcing
Stephanie,
what
yeah.
Tomoki is from. Stephanie, exactly.
Hmm.
So as we mentioned before, he's going to play the compulsory piece, and then after that, he's going
Yes.
to be blessing us with Brahms' second piano concerto. Have you played that before, Takashi?
Yes. No, this is very long one, almost 1 hour long.
Exactly. Yeah. Bob's Good Life. Oh, I know Bob. How did you approach learning and mastering an unknown piece? Takashi, why don't I
Oh.
let you answer that? Because I'm genuinely
Well,
interested. They know too much about me already.
oh, well, this is a difficult question, but it's not how to say different from the unknown or very known piece that something new for me. Then I will start learning. Yeah, with the keyboards also, but without a keyboard, just I read the notes and then I know um, how the composer, how to say, think about the music, his idea. We try to get that idea. So it's a
Yeah.
not so difficult from difference from the unknown piece. It's the same, I think.
I agree. I agree. You have to approach it with the same way that you would approach Tchaikovsky, Brahms, Beethoven, just understanding the language. And it might be a bit difficult because you don't have the advantage of listening to a recording. Sometimes when you listen to a recording, you can understand the atmosphere and the writing style. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
So we're going on
Oh,
stage.
he's
Like,
coming.
wow, that was fast. So he didn't
Wow.
even look like he was nervous. He just went on stage. I know when I was on stage, I was like
Yeah.
turning around, waiting, waiting, waiting. He
Really?
just, bam.
Yeah, sure.
Nice. All right, audience, let's clap together since we don't have people in the chat. Write down clap, 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 clap. All right, so why don't we let him play 3 minutes and then we'll start talking again. Let's have a
Sure.
listen to what this piece sounds like, okay? Wow. And initial thoughts, Takashi. What do you think about this piece? Does it remind you of your piece? Oh, we do. Wait,
Oh,
before you answer that, let me just answer this
yes, yes.
question. Otterhouse 22, and curious how the page turner performs today. So yesterday,
Yeah,
do we have a page turner? Yeah, we do. Yesterday, someone was
yeah.
page turning, and then the score fell onto the
Oh,
piano
yeah.
hand. Yeah, that's
Oh,
always the
no.
worst job, I think, being a page turner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think about this piece so
Yeah.
far?
Yeah, this is very different from my edition, and it's very, how to say, kind of a style of Messiaen, or
Yeah.
yeah, very French sound I'm
Yeah.
hearing. And there's
Definitely.
very difficult part to ensemble with the Schlagzeug. How do you say that? Marimbas, or yeah, this one.
Marimba with the percussion.
Yeah, percussions. Yes, yes, yes. It's very hard to get together because it's very far from the
What
piano.
I've noticed
We have
exactly.
distance. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This must be
And
very hard.
what's incredible to me is that the piano it can play many different faces. In some ways, it's a melodic instrument, but it can also be a very percussive instrument. So
Yes.
it's always interesting to know, especially in a contemporary piece, does the piano play the role as a percussive instrument or more of a melodic instrument? And obviously, it seems like, right, I'm getting the sense that he's trying to go for a more percussive sound,
Yeah,
it seems, because the
I
strings are
think so
just
too. Yeah.
holding, which gives that atmosphere. Okay,
Yeah.
another question we have. What is more important for the imposed work, the score or the interpretation? Takashi, why don't you answer this first?
Oh, um, honestly, I think it's not very important for the jury member. It's much more important how they play the concerto, the big concerto. Well, and but yeah, preparing the concerto is not so, how to say, a difficult task for some pianists. So they are making a task, to read the music and do it in the 1 week. Besides, they're preparing the concertos. So I think that kind of hard task. I think.
I agree with you because I think that the contemporary piece, the one thing is that if it's this kind of style where it's very, I think this is kind of atonal. It
Yeah.
gives you a bit of room because no one really knows what you're doing. And also, I think in this situation, I would say, if you want a more direct answer, I think the interpretation is more important because it's part of your communication to the audience. It doesn't, if you miss a note, you mess up a little bit, as long as you're able to still stay committed and to communicate some sort of emotion to the audience, that is the most important because the concerto is what they're really looking at from what I assume. I mean, I never know what every jury member is looking at, but that's what I assume. And in some ways, I feel like this competition, I don't know exactly the idea of giving the compulsory piece to the contestant is, but in some ways it's kind of like a real life stimulation because when you're out there performing, you have to prepare many, many pieces at once. You're not just able to focus on one concerto for
Yeah.
6 weeks without any interruption. You're going to be learning something new. You have a side project, something came up for tomorrow, and you have to still be able to focus and play it at your 100% best.
Sure.
I want to hear a little bit more of this piece. Just I didn't really get to hear this part last time, so let's hear this.
Yes.
So Takashi,
Yeah.
how much did you get to work and share your ideas with other contestants? Did you make an effort? Were people pretty friendly in the chapelle to actually say, "Oh, can I play my piece for you?" Because I know in my year, there were two of us that were pretty friendly with each other, and we got a chance to play through the piece just to see, oh, that was a new fingering. Tell us more about what
Oh.
the whole vibe was.
Hmm. So at that time, at my time, we are very hard to say. Yeah, friendly, and then we taught each other about this piece, and we are how to say, yeah, pretty in a good mood.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so nice because it really can take just one person to really destroy that friendly, supportive
sure.
vibe, especially when you're stuck together for one
Yes.
week. Did you do anything fun at the chapelle other than practice
Yeah,
and
yeah,
sleep
yeah.
and eat?
Yeah,
What
we,
did you do?
we did table tennis and also the jigsaw puzzles.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
ping
I
pong. I remember
remember
doing
very
ping
well.
pong.
Yeah, ping pong. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was a CD without the of this imposed piece without the solo part. Only the orchestra part without piano
Same.
was recorded. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so we can practice with that. Playing with that kind of
Yes, I
karaoke.
had that. Exactly, I had that as well. And I remember I was so confused because I was like,
Sure.
nothing's fitting in. But then I realized, sometimes people don't count the rests correctly because it's new for them
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So, I'm looking at Tomoki. He looked so calm. He looked, yesterday Vitaly was also very calm, but I'm looking at him. I feel pretty calm as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
yeah, he,
maybe he's really just thriving. I feel like everybody's hair
yeah. I
is
think
growing pretty long though at this point.
yeah,
Even yesterday, he had a
yeah.
giant hair like
Sure,
that.
sure.
So it's great.
But he's also a composer, Tomoki. So maybe
Ah,
he has a lot of experience with these modern pieces.
right. All right. So I think the piece is about to end. Why don't we just give this last few minutes our 100%
Yeah,
attention to
sure.
the final parts of this piece? Okay, everybody, let's clap together. Everyone in the chat box, let's clap. Showing some virtual support. Awesome. Ooh, even the queen is clapping. It's a great mask. Wow, he's really wearing an N95.
Sure.
All right. Quick question here. Are you still in contact with your Chappelle's mate? Have you considered working together after the competition? I mean, I still am good friends with all 11 of them, and I'm
Oh,
sure
really?
we're bound to collaborate at some point. I mean, what about you, Takashi?
Well, yeah, I have some friends on Facebook, the Chappelle's colleagues, but I didn't contact very often. But I try to invite some of them to my concert. It's not so easy to invite them to Japan, but yeah, someday I will.
Yeah. Someday, yeah, absolutely. You know, the music world is such a small circle of people, and at some point
Sure.
you're gonna work with them, right? Whether that be, who knows, maybe someone will become the concert master of an orchestra that you'll come and play with at one point, or they open a chamber music festival, or they become a professor somewhere. And you know, the music world is very, very, very small, and you just, you'll be you'll be working together at some point again. And it's great to
Yeah.
start that collaboration when you're young, because I think it's so much more powerful. Ooh, another question. How do the conductors keep track of the 12 different renditions of the same pieces? It must be so confusing to know which cues to give to which contestants, etc. Yeah, I really don't
Yeah.
envy Maestro Wolf right now. We had a
Yeah.
conversation with Marin Alsop yesterday, and she joined
Yeah.
us for the conversation. That was great. So she gave us a little bit of an insight of how she approached that. But I will tell you, when I did ask Maestro Wolf in 2019, how do you keep track? He had 12 different scores for each.
Oh,
Oh, he had one score for each candidate. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
was very specific, and it really is like 12 new pieces for the conductor. So I do have huge honors and respect for the people, I mean, for Mr. Wolf, for Marianne Alsop before, and whoever before that as well, to take that responsibility of being so in the moment and not ever taking anything on autopilot.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, so we saw Tomoki going backstage and probably drinking some
Yeah.
water. He looked so calm, so he just sat down like that as if nothing happened. For me, I was just standing up.
Yeah.
Okay, not nervous. I'm not nervous, but he looks fine. Because there's cameras
Sure.
everywhere, even though it doesn't look like there's
Yeah.
a camera. The space is actually quite small. I don't know if
Yeah.
they're using a wide angle lens or something, but it makes it look like it's a nice penthouse at the backstage. But it's actually pretty squishy and pretty hot. I remember it was very, very, very hot. Do you remember what you were
Yeah.
feeling in
It
between
was.
the pieces after you finished the contemporary piece and
Oh,
before you played your concerto?
I don't remember anything.
Maybe that's best.
Yeah. But Tomoki is
Okay.
very active in Japan. He's very professional, and he's playing many concerts, so he's so getting used to it, playing on stage.
Yeah. Yes, I do know that once you play more on stage, there's something about just doing a competition. It's nerve-wracking still, but
Mhm.
it becomes a little bit easier. Okay, he's going on stage
Sure.
now. All right,
Oh, without mask.
everybody. Oh, okay. Maybe it was too hard to play with mask at first. All right, let's give him our attention for the first couple of minutes. about this so far. We have a question here saying that we can see the dedication on his face. That's so powerful. Twitch unity. That's awesome. Yeah, I was noticing how dedicated he just looks, and he's 150% in the zone. There's no distraction at all. I mean, I'm totally just drawn in. I'm just focused on the music. What are your thoughts so far, Takashi?
Yeah, so far he's marvelous.
You know, I've not really heard this concerto that often. I don't know, maybe it's just myself. I know it's I've heard the first one way more because I played.
Yeah.
I played in the
especially
orchestra,
in the
and it's a long-
competition. It's very rare to choose this concerto, I think.
Is it really rare to choose this concerto?
In the competition, I think.
Why do you say that?
Because it's very long, and it's they say that it's more for the orchestra, the concert for orchestra with piano or something like that. It's not really soloistic.
There are some that are like that for violin as well. So what did you play for the finals?
Oh, I played Prokofiev first. It's a kind of short concerto, but at that time we have to play the sonata as well at the final stage, and the sonata and the concerto should be less than 1 hour. And I wanted to play the long sonata by Schubert, so I had very little rest for the concerto, so I chose the shorter concerto.
That's true. They got rid of that. I think because the length was just too long. We have a question for you, Takashi. You want to read that out and answer that?
So what were your thoughts while playing? Oh, like what is the Owe doing? or this went well. Okay. How to say? Yeah. I'm always thinking about the next moment of the music. Yeah. So it's coming like that, and then now I'm here, and then the very next corner, how we have to make the music and make the sound. These are my idea of performance. And how about you?
For me, I remember because I played Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto. We did not have the sonata round, so I know I think they changed that in 2014 or 15 because even the last violin edition, I remember my brother, he did Ravel Sonata, and then he did the contemporary piece, and then the Tchaikovsky Concerto. That felt so long. So for me, I remember for the compulsory piece, I was like, 1 page, whew, that was okay. 2nd page, okay, that went okay. 3rd page. With the Tchaikovsky, I think it was much more, I felt like it was a concert. And I think that was one of the healthiest way to approach it because the orchestra knows the piece inside and out. And it's not a matter of fact of getting the pieces together at this point. It's more about leading the orchestra and understanding that you are the leader and the performance is happening and people are listening to you. So for me, that was my thought process. And I was like, oh, that went well. Or I felt like, oh, you know what? I feel like this could go a little faster tonight. I'm feeling the energy from the audience that they love this so far. Or, oh, how did that go? I don't know. But it was very a positive mindset when I was playing. And I can't imagine what it must be like right now for all these contestants without the audience. Because at least for me, I found that I really needed the audience in order to give me stability and security of sustaining my performance. Do you find that the audience plays a big role in having a successful performance, Takashi?
Yes, I think so. And well, in the audience for this competition in Brussels is very enthusiastic, and they, even after our performance, they try to give us a lot of comments, and they encourage us very much.
Exactly.
So So this time
we're doing this
we are
on
losing
Twitch.
that. Sure.
So more comments, guys. Comment below.
Sure.
Let's have this into a very, very, very interactive comment section. You guys You guys
Sure.
are the audience. Yesterday we had 4,000 people join with us. That's basically 2 concert
Oh,
halls.
really?
Yeah. Let's see if we
That's
can get it
right.
up. Let's push it up to 10,000.
Sure.
Let's hear a few more minutes of this. I'm wondering what the concerto has gone into now.
Mhm.
That was a beautiful sounding section.
Yes.
The orchestra sounds really, really great.
Sure.
It must be so much fun. It must be so much fun for the orchestra to be playing this piece because, as you said, I can tell it is very much a symphony with the piano
Yes.
on top of it. Have you played this yourself?
No, never. I just played the first concert by Brahms, but this one I never.
How many concertos did he write?
Just 2 for concert for
Just
the
2?
piano. Yes.
Okay. I'm looking a little bit about his history, and he studied at Hanover for a long time, from 2016 until now. Still, he's doing his concert.
Yes.
Examen.
Yeah. Actually, he's studying with a teacher same as me in Hanover.
Ari Vardi.
Yes.
Okay. So you studied in Hanover too.
Yeah. Exactly.
So.
But I left
I did the
there in
competition.
2011, so I didn't see him there in Hanover.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time in Hanover as well because I did the
I know.
Joseph Joachim competition. So
Sure.
what is, it seems like a really popular place to study, especially for pianists. I'm going to have you answer that in a bit, but we see a question right here. Any special rituals before going on stage? So I'll start maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sean's choice. So for me, I am very particular about how I want to spend my last half an hour before I go on stage. I'm pretty much okay before the half an hour. So if the concert starts at 8 o'clock, I need at least from 7:30 until 8 o'clock entire time to myself. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to do interviews. I don't want to have people come in and out of my room. I just need that 30 minutes just to focus about what I'm going to be performing on stage. And that's really just my rituals, because in the past I had some superstition, but I found that if I didn't actually do one of those things, it actually impacted me more difficult because I was like, oh, I didn't eat a banana before I went on stage. It's going to be a bad performance. So I jinxed myself. So now all I ask for is 30 minutes before. I need silence and just leave me alone. What about you, Takashi?
Well, I'm how to say, yeah. It's not a kind of a superstition, but I try to eat something before going to stage, because if I'm hungry on stage, it'll be awful, without any sugar in my mind, maybe. So
You don't
I
want to
try
be
to,
hangry.
yeah. So I try to put some, how to say, sandwiches and some rice, pastas, anything before I go on stage.
Exactly. I'm one of those people that also need to eat something before I go on stage. Otherwise, it's not going to be a good concert. But I think, I know some artists,
Uh-huh.
they don't want to eat anything, otherwise they feel nauseous. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, this is a difficult part of the concerto. Right.
So, Takashi, tell us, what was it like to study in Hanover, and why is it that so many pianists go there?
Well, at that time, there are many super teachers in Hanover. Also, our teacher Vardy and Kemaling was there, and Krainev was there, and so many talented pianists were gathering in Hanover.
Mm-hmm.
That's the important point, I think.
Mm-hmm. How is the atmosphere to study in Hanover? I know it's not a small city, it's not a big city, it's kind of right in between. It's a medium-sized city.
Yeah,
From my experience, did you feel like there was a place that you thrived? I mean, maybe share a little bit about us, what it was like to actually study in the city. Hanover, anyone from Hanover, please comment below.
Yeah, well, I love that the city, but we didn't have such a, how to say, big cultural symbol or something like that. It's a kind of new town in Germany because it was destroyed in the World War II.
Yeah.
So we don't have a big concert hall in the city. Yeah, it's a suburb. It is, but yeah, it's okay to study there. It's very, how to say, intensive. A lot of concentration, but we don't have any discourse or something like that for the nightlife.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to study there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when I was there, it was great because in some ways you were able to always bump into another musician at some point. And it's such a central location in terms of where the trains are, because it's a major train place where, so I thought it was a beautiful city. I know it's not as historical as you might have imagined because everything was bombed. So it was a surprise because all the buildings had central heating and central air conditioning. It was kind of nice, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got a comment here. Tomoki Sakata is barely looking at his fingers. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, but I also don't look at my fingers while performing.
Really? Does it help you focus better? Do you practice without looking at your fingers?
I think so, yeah. It's not a big issue to look at it. And then, if I started to look at it, then I will miss some notes. So better to not look and just, how to say, close your eyes.
It's scary. It is scary. I mean, I have to be honest. I don't know what it's like for piano, but for us, when we play a piece, I know that there are some melodies where if you close your eyes, you just feel so much more connected to the music. But also at the same time, you feel very vulnerable because what if some technical things happen, like a shift? You really have to use your other senses, your sense of touch, your sense with your hearing as well. But I think if you can really find and channel that energy to close your eyes and just listen, it's great. It's the end of first movement.
Yeah.
Looks so calm still. Oh, that's that towel. I know a lot of musicians, they always have that little towel somehow because we sweat so much. It's a sport.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the
I
opening
love
of
this
the second
movement.
movement. Let's listen. So, that was beautiful just to listen a little bit of that beginning of that movement.
Yeah.
So, this concerto is pretty long. I really do want to ask you a very vital question, Takashi.
Hmm?
What is it like to be a musician dealing with COVID-19 right now?
Oh yeah, yeah. In Japan, now we are allowed to do the concert. We give a concert with a limited numbers of the seat in the concert hall. So we can have some concerts also with the orchestra, but it's people are not so how to say.
They're not as
going to the
enthusiastic.
Sure, yeah,
Careful.
they're not so. Yeah, for the music, it's a very hard days, So
it
this
is
is
very difficult.
Yeah, for us,
Because,
I think.
Yeah, because the idea of us performing a concert is to bring people together, and that's exactly what we should not be doing right now because of the coronavirus.
Sure.
So yeah, it's definitely been very, very difficult. I want to get more into
Sure.
that in a bit, but let's just answer this question, Hakahito.
Yeah.
Oh, it's more of a comment. So Hakahito is
Mhm.
just impressed by how the orchestra is playing so well because you're playing 6 different concertos over a week. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you play 12 when there are
Yes,
12
yes.
competitors. Usually there are a lot of
Sure.
repeats though, because when I played, it was 4 Tchaikovsky concertos, and then
Really?
I think it was more like,
That's a pretty
yeah,
lot.
it was me, it was Shannon Lee, Stella Chen,
Uh-huh.
and
Oh.
Luke Su. So we all played Tchaikovsky, so at least they had that under their
Oh,
belt.
I
But
see.
it still is, we all have different interpretations, so they have to be very, very in tune with what we do with our timing.
Yeah.
But it is good. I mean, the orchestra sounds fantastic, and I give them so much respect that they're able to just play with such commitment, especially during
Sure.
COVID. I think it's so hard because if you're not playing together, people don't realize this. If orchestras don't play together, they don't know how to make a
To
sound
communicate,
together
yeah,
anymore.
yes, sure.
Yeah. So Takashi, also, did you have some big concerts that you were hoping to, or did you have some big concerts you were planning last year when COVID happened? Was there anything in particular that you were like, that was so exciting, but it couldn't happen?
Oh yeah. Last year I was supported to play 3 concertos with the orchestra, the Beethoven Fifth and Tchaikovsky and Rachmaninoff the second, but all the 3 was cancelled, so it was a pity of me. Now,
Where was that
yeah,
going to be?
yes, sure. I'm playing the Rachmaninoff very soon, the next week, and then in the November I will play Tchaikovsky. Yeah, it recovered.
Are they in Japan, or is it
Yes, in
outside
Japan,
of
and
Japan?
actually I'm gonna uh, make a concert tour from the day after tomorrow to Kyoto and also in Nagoya or something like that.
Wow.
It's a solo recital of
Yeah,
me, but
it's exciting. I'm happy to hear that things are coming back together. At least I
yeah,
know in,
sure.
in East Asia, they've been able to control the virus a little bit better. Not saying it's great, but sometimes here it's been kind of nothing's really happening yet, I would say, for concerts, especially with the public at least. It's been very much live streaming, like as we see right now with the Queen Elizabeth competition. But
Yeah.
I mean, I am hoping to play a concert on June 5th outside. We'll see if that's going to happen, and crossing my fingers. So what did you do during the lockdown? Did you find a new
Well,
hobby?
yes. Yeah, actually, yeah. At the first days, I was too shocked that I lost my concerts, but afterwards, I changed my mind that I should do something which I couldn't do in my concert life. So I tried to compose some my own music, and also I wrote some book about the piano playing and make some recording also, and that kind of things I did last year. Yeah,
When
actually,
can we
it
expect to
was
see that book?
good. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's already published
Is it? Can we
this
find it on
year.
Amazon
Yes,
or
yes.
something? Oh,
Well,
okay.
yes,
Well,
but
you need the link
it's
after
in
that.
sure. It's Japanese. Sorry, but
It's okay. I know there are a lot of people from Japan here, so okay.
yeah.
So
So
this is the next movement. All right.
yeah. So there is a very long, beautiful solo of the cellist.
Okay. Let's take a listen to that.
Sure.
who are listening to this, I'm just going to help answer this question from GWLU. How is the audience impacting a performance on stage? Empty concert hall is so sad even for him, I presume. Yeah, I mean, it is such a weird experience to not have an audience. I mean, we talked a little bit about this earlier on, but Takashi, I mean, for you, even regardless of Queen Elizabeth competition, and I don't know what the concert halls are like in Japan because I never played there, but can you maybe describe to us what the public is like in Japan?
Well, yeah, the Japanese audience is very silent and they are very calm, But in the Brussels, I felt a lot of energy from the audience, and they gave me much power to be in the music, So,
Yeah.
so they
For
have
me,
a good impact for us, I think. Yes, I would say.
I think so. And it's so, I don't think it's really hard for non-musicians to really understand the impact of the audience, but it really is, I think the closest thing that you can actually relate this to is if you're speaking publicly and if the audience start to laugh with you a little bit, or if they're very silent and your jokes don't make anyone laugh and you're like, oh, you're sweating because nothing's working, right? So it's similar to that feeling. And being from North America, and I haven't played so much in Asia yet, hopefully in the future, but in North America, you have such a diversity of audience. Some places, in New York City, it's absolutely no sound.
Oh,
and then
really?
You go somewhere else. Yeah, absolutely. And then you go somewhere else, like I was in Wisconsin, and everybody was, I was playing something, and they're like, howdy, this is awesome. I was playing in Oklahoma, and they're like, encore. I didn't even finish the piece yet, and they already started clapping. I was like, this is an energy.
Wow.
This is a vibe. There's a lot of...
You like it?
Yeah, and then it's different. It's different. And some people are like,
sure.
and then eating something in the middle. It's you have such a diversity in North America as the people are.
Oh, really?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, he looks. I'm just looking at him play right now. He's just so 150% into the music.
Sure.
So Takashi, I want to know a little bit more about you because we've played together, but I didn't get a chance to really sit down and just get to know you because competition atmosphere is not always helping with that. But
okay, yeah.
I want to know a little bit about your story. So how did you start playing the piano? Where and why?
Oh,
and when did you realize you wanted to become a pianist?
Okay, yeah. I started playing piano at age of 4. And because I had a friend in the kindergarten, she played the piano there. So I wanted to do the same, and I asked my parents. But at that time, we don't have pianos at home, so my grandmother bought me an upright piano, and I started to learn. Then, from the age of 7, I started to participate in the student competition in my hometown. Then the life of the competition started for 20 years or something like that over.
And
then
you studied in
the middle of it.
And where did you study for your first couple of lessons? Was it privately or was it in school?
The first, the privately.
Privately.
Yeah.
And would you say that you made a decision at a certain age where you're like, I want to become a pianist, I want that to be my life? Or was it just because you did a lot of things and it just grew and grew and like, oh, I guess I'm a pianist?
Oh yeah, I didn't have any, how to say, special point to become a pianist. But after winning some student competition in Japan, some of their teachers, musical teacher in my hometown, said me that you have to go to Tokyo to have a professional education if you want to be a professional pianist now or something like that. So I was started to thinking about that, and I entered the musical high school of Tokyo Gaidai, the same high school as Tomoki, So I went there to start the professional education. So that may be the turning point of me.
Yeah. You mentioned that you won a bunch of student competitions, and I'm just looking at the chat section right now as well. There's one person that wrote a really long question for us from Gothmug. Since this year's competition takes place without an audience, it feels even more like a competition rather than a concert. What is your opinion on this? Is there a clear difference between a competition, for example, there's something to win, and a concert, there's nothing to win? What do you think, Takashi?
Oh, this is very hard to answer. Yeah. Well, how do you think?
So I think I cannot put myself in their shoes right now because I've never had to do a competition without an audience. I think for me that is so. I think the closest thing that I would have ever done was maybe I did a competition where the first round was not open to the public. In some ways, if I look back at it, it was not too bad because, and there were no cameras though, but it felt more like an audition, right? When you audition for schools, etc., I would say it's similar, but it's usually not with a whole orchestra. It's just you and a pianist, at least for violin and piano. Maybe piano is you and maybe another pianist for the concerto. But I assume that must be closer to what it feels like. I would say in a concert, it's different. It's not to say that there's nothing to win. I think what you're winning is much more ambiguous in the sense that you're not exactly winning first, second, third, fourth prize. Usually there's a lot of things to win. You can win, finding new audience members that really love your performance, or a new conductor that you have never worked with, and it's a great collaboration that starts something new. So many things you can win in a concert, but it's not as clear cut as a competition. But Takashi, what do you think? Performing in a competition and playing a concert, how does that feel different to you in terms of, are you winning something? Are you more careful? Are you less careful? Do you not care as much? I mean, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I must say that in the preparation, it's very different from for the concert to the competition. But on stage, I don't feel the much difference that we have to go into the music much more, and it's a same thing between the no difference between the competition and the concert.
Yeah,
just
I would say the same.
Being a good music. But I'm concerning about no audience this year. I feel like it's kind of a, how to say, the broadcast recording or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. Let's listen to the rest of this piece.
Sure.
right, so we have about 3 minutes left to the end of this concerto. Let's just talk a little bit more, and then we want to definitely hear the last few measures and just see how he feels afterwards. Oh, there's Aaron Korea is asking us a question. This concerto, like Prokofiev 2, has almost no rest for the pianist in between the first and second movements. And the second movement is also fast, so I find it very impressive that pianists can keep up their endurance. I totally agree. This is really cool. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just listening to him play as he's continuing on. It just feels so natural. His interpretation of this piece seems like he's composing, and maybe that's because he's a composer as well. He has that understanding. I mean, just listening a little bit so far, Takashi, what do you think about his interpretation? Would you say it's a pretty standard interpretation of this piece, or is it something new and fresh?
I think it's he's doing a very traditional interpretation, and he said that he studied this concerto with his mentor Paul Badura Skoda, and he learned many things from this master. So something very nice. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, what I hear just from the broadcast is that I do hear like he's weaving in and out of the piano, of the orchestra, and the orchestra is definitely, I understand now when you're saying that it's much more of a symphonic concerto than anything else, and they sound fantastic.
It's very important,
It's like a conversation.
Yes.
How would you say this piece differs from the first concerto by Brahms?
Well, the first one is in his young ages he composed, so it's more powerful and full of power, the energy. And this concerto is also very powerful, but it is in the the much mature ages. So not so, how to say, stressful, but it's kind of very relaxed mood. Yeah,
I agree.
Especially this movement, it's a little bit similar to Mozart, don't you think?
I do hear that. I feel it's so interesting because some people, when they mature, they become much more angry, but it looks like Brahms became much more mature in the sense of reflective, because Beethoven is the opposite. I find that his pieces at the end of his life was much more, as opposed to when he was younger, it was much more simple, much more Mozart-like.
Yes.
And Brahms seems like, if anything, he was very a fervent child, and then when he got older, it became much more spacious. Kawa BXL asks us, how important is it for musicians to do contests and competitions? Do you know musicians who just refuse to do some? Takashi, I think we both know the answer of this, but why don't you answer this and then we'll let him...
I don't know if they refuse, but there were many musicians who didn't go to that competitions. And it's not necessary for everyone, I think.
I agree. Yeah. I think it's important I think any exposure helps you, no matter what it is. So, but in terms of winning first prize, second prize, it's what you make out of it afterwards. I know many successful musicians who've never won a competition, and I know many that did and don't have anything afterwards. But this is near the end of the concerto, so let's just listen to how he's finishing this last few meters. right, let's all clap for him. Chat box, let's go crazy.
Bravo.
I think, can you send all these emojis? Yay! Bravo. There was a piece of cake for him. Ooh, we got a cat here too. I'm gonna put a little cat here as well.
Sure.
Awesome. Wow, we've got 120 people watching right now. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it must be a hard job also for the orchestra.
I hope to clap also. But yeah, this is a
Sure.
big program. Wow. Okay, so now he's done. Let's see what he's feeling. He's just backstage. All right. So,
Yep.
Takashi, you played on a Wednesday
Yeah.
evening in 2010. So you were third, right? You
Oh.
were on the third night.
Was it? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. We searched it up for you. Do you remember
Okay,
what you did
thanks.
after you performed? What was the first feeling you had after the competition was over? For you, at least performance-wise.
Oh yeah, I was how to say relaxed totally. So actually, I don't remember very well, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was so happy that I
Yeah. Happy.
done. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I mean, Tomoki. I was just seeing his facial expressions. He looked incredibly happy.
Yeah.
So we're hearing a little bit of
I'm playing.
your own performance now. Why don't we
Oh,
make that full screen?
I look so young.
Look at this. It's amazing. I love Prokofiev. It just really, it goes crazy. You feel like you're in a fantasy land.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going to happen.
Sure. Yeah. Oh.
Look at you. Bravo! Look at that. Full audience.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they put flowers in the past. I kind of like that. I wonder if they'll put flowers again.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I wonder what's going through
I
your head
haven't
at
seen
that
this
point.
video
You're like,
for afterwards. Yeah, this is the first time maybe to see this video.
yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I really loved that last part.
Yeah.
So after you were done, I mean, let's try and see if we can dig any memories from you. Do you remember how you coped with waiting for the, for the results?
Yeah. Well, in the results announcement, we were together in the 12 finalists, and we are in the backstage, and they call us there from the first prize,
Yeah, yeah.
and then
But even before that,
uh,
because you played on Wednesday, you
yeah,
had a couple days. Were you constantly thinking
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
the results, or did you just say, oh, you know what, whatever the results happen, I'm just going to enjoy Brussels now for the first time? What was your
Oh
mentality and
yeah.
your strategy to just, because I think all of us are kind of
Mhm.
anxious to know the results. And I think it
Yeah,
must be
yeah,
even more
kind of,
difficult if
yes.
you play earlier in the week. But I know some people that play on
Hmm.
Saturday, of course, they just have to wait 5 hours. But some people that play first
Hmm.
night, third night, fourth night, they have to wait a couple of days. Do you remember what you were
Hmm.
dealing with in terms of your emotions and feelings at that time?
Oh yeah, I was a little bit anxious, but actually I was accommodated in the very far away from Brussels, so and very countryside, so many natural natures there, and I saw some evenings in the television,
Mhm.
and then only the Saturday night I went Brussels with the host family
Mm.
to yeah attend the results announcement, but
But you weren't
I was
nervous?
how
You
to
just said,
say
oh,
a little bit, yeah, it's half happy and half anxious, yeah, that kind of.
yeah. It's like it comes in episodes. It's like you're happy eating pasta one day, and then suddenly, oh my gosh, competition's done. And then you go back, oh no, it's fine. It's in flashes, right? It's like, oh my god, I'm
Yes,
still in the
yes,
competition. I
yes,
forgot about that. And then you're going, oh, never mind. Ice
yeah, yeah,
cream,
yeah,
competition,
yeah,
ice cream. And then I found it
yeah,
really
kind
incredible
of that.
because when I was in Brussels, some people actually
Hmm.
recognized me on the street. They were like, you were the one that just played Tchaikovsky Concerto yesterday. I don't know. Did you
Oh.
ever feel like really felt like the whole country was watching? I mean, I'm sure the whole world is, but
Mm.
at this time, it was really incredible. Oh, question from Hakahito Takashi-san: do you still have
Yep.
contacts with your host family from that time?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I also sent them the message that I will be on Twitch this evening, and
Oh, so they're probably watching.
after, yeah, and some uh, when also after the competition I visited them many times, and I played with in their home, their home concert they held for me, and yeah, they're very nice.
So let's talk about you returning to Belgium. So you're in a very
Hmm.
interesting position because you were a finalist and a laureate of the competition. But for those of you who don't know, Takashi also has been the official accompanist, collaborative pianist for the
Yeah.
violin edition, at least for the
Hmm.
past three violin competitions. Also for cello, or is it just violin?
Yes, yes, yes. Also for cello,
Okay,
the first
so
one.
tell
Yeah.
us, how did that opportunity come, first of all, and what is it like to
Hmm.
come back having a different role in the competition?
Yeah. Yes, it was just a coincidence that I started to work as an official pianist. Yeah, it was 2011. So the next year of my participation, I visited Brussels again to accompany my friend violinist for his competition. It was a pre-selection of Vinyavsky competition, I think, held in the Conservatoire of Brussels. Now, and as you know, there is a office of Queen Elizabeth competition just behind the building. So I just stopped at there to say hello to their staffs. So they were quite surprised and asked me, "Why did you come back here?" So I just came for accompany my friend's violinist for his competition. Oh, you play with violinist? Yeah, I do it very often. This is kind of my job in Japan. Then why don't you join a competition as an official pianist next year? Why not? Or yeah, kind of that. And I was thinking that they are just joking or social etiquette or something like that. But some month later, they sent me a contract, and I knew they were serious.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome. I
and
mean, you were so easy to play with. It was incredible. I remember we had this very
yeah.
difficult piece called, I forgot the piece name, but it was by this man Bram van Kamp, and it was more
Yeah,
like
yeah, the imposed one.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and I was like, I don't know how to do this, but you were like a robot. You just knew exactly how the rhythm works,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like, "Ah, at least one of us knows it. In case I get lost, at least he can. And
yeah.
you were able to catch me as well. It's really incredible. But that's
Oh yeah.
awesome. So you've returned to Brussels almost every 2 years, right? Is that right?
Yeah, yes, yes, exactly. So,
Yeah.
yeah, every time it's a beautiful experience for me to play on stage of this competition. So it's
Mhm.
also very hard. Yeah, we cannot um, going wrong, but it's also very hard to say special and yeah to get to know the violinist as you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm interested in also, and we're going to get into this topic very soon, is kind of understanding where young musicians play a role in the development of continuing classical
Hmm.
music as a legacy into the future. Because you were a young
I see.
artist, and I mean you're still very young, but you were in that role of someone that was wanting more
Hmm.
and dreaming of going somewhere. And
Okay.
then I'm interested to know how do you think that just classical music is growing, and even from the competition, do you, I mean, this is one way of interacting with new people
Hmm.
through Twitch, but have you noticed a
Yes.
significant trend or efforts made to make sure that this career is something to be optimistic about, and how are you particularly exactly trying to share that message
Mhm.
and enthusiasm?
Yes, now we have our the, internet technologies, and that some of the pianists is doing like YouTuber, and
Mhm.
they're yeah and very successful, and then they were attracting many young people. Maybe it's one challenge for the future, and also the most of the artist, the performance is going to talk like this opportunity or write something or like that. This is very, how to say, also attractive for the people that they can know um, the personality of the artist, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Like the online world has been incredibly innovative for musicians, especially classical musicians, to interact with people beyond just in your group of circle. Because I think classical music for the longest time has been very exclusive. It was very much for the people that could afford to have the access of hearing classical music and studying it. But now with the ability to reach audience of all ages, because I know some of my friends who are much younger and even some kids, they have access to the internet. And also now people that are much older, and especially because of COVID, everything is online. They are being exposed to the possibilities and discovery of new young artists that will be leaders of the industry in the future. So, talking about that, Tomoki's going to be joining us in just a couple of
Really?
minutes. Yes. So, Twitch fans, guests, viewers, please fire your questions that you would like us to ask Tomoki, that's going to be coming and joining us in just a few minutes, and would love to try to ask as many questions as we can to him. So go ahead, don't be afraid. I have a few questions already. I'm going to ask him what he ate, because that for me was really important, because when you're in the chapelle, they always ask you, what do you want for your final meal? I don't know if they did that to you last time as
Yes,
well.
yes.
I kind of felt like I mean, I don't want to say this, kind of sounds bad, but like, in the US, when you get executed, they ask you, what do you want for your
Mhm.
final meal? I was like, am
Yeah.
I on the chopping block now? In the past, I used to do that.
Last Supper,
I,
yeah, yeah,
Last supper, literally, I ordered
yeah,
a steak. I ordered a steak with pasta
yeah.
and tomato sauce. That's what I asked for. Do you remember what you
Oh
had
yeah.
asked for?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I know someone asked
Yeah.
for mashed potatoes. Someone else asked for rice and beef. I just remember it was so. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
"What is
Yeah.
this?" Last
At
Supper.
one time, there is Evgeny Bojanov who took the second prize, and he wanted to have every meal the steak, beef steak.
Oh yeah,
So
they cook
he
the steak very well
brought
there.
the 20 pieces of the beef with him to the chapel,
Uh-huh.
and then they cooked for him, especially.
Wow.
It
Wow, that's
was
incredible.
funny.
For those of you that don't know, when we're in the Chapelle, they treat us really like a hotel service. It's amazing. I mean, I think you were still
Yes.
staying in the old Chapelle, right? So it was a little bit stuffier.
Mhm.
It was the old building, right? Not the
Yeah,
new
yeah.
one. But they
No,
built a brand new Chapelle right behind
I
the old
know.
one, and it looks so
Yeah,
modern. It's beautiful. I mean, it's not very
yeah.
big. It's probably, I think it's, yeah, it's not too big. It's got about, I think, 15 rooms, and the rooms were
Oh,
like lofts. So you had a sleeping space upstairs, and then the piano and the practice space below, and then we would go
really?
downstairs to eat. It's just beautiful.
Wow.
It's kind of like a resort. I feel like,
Yeah.
of course, a gated resort because you can't leave, and none of us left. But it was
Oh,
such an incredible experience to have
oh
food, and
yeah.
yeah, just I felt like a little
I
kid
wish I
again,
could
which
visit
is
there.
have you not gone?
No, I was there in 2012 for the final, but at that time there was no such a new building yet.
Mm-hmm, hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I remember because my brother also stayed in the old building. I think they didn't build that
Yeah,
new
yeah,
one
yeah.
until maybe 2015 or 14.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, he was telling me that it was, and I remember seeing these old portraits in the past where they would go into their room, and I remember
Hmm.
Chooi, who was a laureate prize winner in 2009, and she was showing me that she was eating instant ramen during her time. It was really cool. I think I
Okay.
remember that still. Yeah. Really, really awesome. All right, let's just see if we got some
Sure.
good questions for Tomoki. Yes, we
Yeah.
do. Someone's asking about why he chose that concerto.
Yeah, yeah. I
Someone
also
else.
want to ask.
Yes. Did you get your cell phone? Oh, interesting question. So you did the competition 2010. Did you have a cell phone back then already?
After the performance, yeah,
Or in general, you had to, because now, I mean, we were talking about this yesterday, but
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
is so connected with their phones these days that
Hmm.
it must be like you feel like you're breaking up with your significant other
Yeah.
if you have to give your phone away. I mean,
Hmm.
back then, if you lost your phone and you gave it away, was it a big deal, or was it, I mean, today when I did it, it felt like a big deal. Like my friends and my
Hmm.
colleagues, they were like, I don't know how I'm going to survive without a computer and a
Hmm.
cell phone, iPad for the next 7 days. Did you feel like it was a big challenge, or was it just like, okay?
Yeah, I knew that we have to leave our such a devices. So, yeah, I was how to say prepared.
Okay.
Yeah, if I go to the
Yeah.
final, I have to leave them. But yeah, but I think I brought them to the chapel, and I passed them in their
Hmm.
secretary, and
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
they put in their bag,
Hmm.
and then someone from the competition will be together with me, and then after their performance, they returned.
Hmm. Yeah. Same thing with me as well. I mean, the thing
Hmm.
about today, especially with COVID, I think that a lot of people of all ages, young,
Oh,
oh, I don't know what happened. Sorry.
yeah, it
Am
stopped.
I back?
Well, I hear you, but
Oh,
oh,
there.
okay. Now it's okay. Yeah.
A little moment there. So, in the past couple years, especially this year because of
Hmm.
COVID, everybody's getting their information and news online, and I think there's a lot of power because it can spread a lot of good and a lot of bad. And
Hmm.
personally, I know I've been trying to really communicate to a lot of young artists online through social media. And a lot of them have been asking me, how do I have a successful career in music today? And what advices can I give them? Because I mean, I think that the music industry, especially our genre of music, is really changing so quickly. And the idea of what is the traditional path of success, it's not the
Sure.
same anymore as it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. Because in the past, I think there was two ways of really building your career. The first one was you won a competition and then everything just locked in place. Or the second one was you were a prodigy, or you had a close connection with the conductor, and then that worked out because you did a big debut in New York or something, or Tokyo or Paris. But I don't know. Today, is that still the case? What do you have to say about that, Takashi? And how would you exactly say, or what would you exactly say to some of the young artists, let's say if they're 10 to 18 years old right now, or even 20, 22, 23, how would you say to approach, developing a career in classical music?
Yeah, I'm not sure for the worldwide activities, but for speaking about the Japanese market, yeah, it's very important to have your fans. So yeah, if you have 5,000 fans, then you can give a recital anywhere. You can. So it's a very important thing that you have the how to say core members of the friends.
That's really great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of what you're just saying, because audience, I think a lot of us as classical artists, we don't think about that so much. We think about the purity of 100% serving the music, which is so important. I'm not saying that you should never do that, but you also have to realize that your audience are the people that is watching your concert. Because I mean, of course, right now it's an exception because we don't have an audience because of COVID. But imagine if that was your entire life and career of not playing for anyone to connect to. Your audience, no matter, I think, how fast the industry changes, whether that be social media disturbing our normal way of communication, whether that be the internet or just the change of industry, there's always going to be your audience, and they're going to adapt to make sure that they can listen to your music and hear you and support you. So I think that is so true. The audience is really important.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So I mean, are you on social media right now?
Yes, I'm doing Twitter, mainly in Japanese, but also I have the
You have
Facebook
Twitch?
page. No, Twitter.
Oh, Twitter.
Yeah, and also the Facebook page made by the a very enthusiastic volunteer of the Queen Elizabeth competition. I think the name was Hugo. Mr. Hugo was made me the Facebook page, and now I'm doing that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I think really it's so important to have that, especially these days as an upcoming new technology era of communication. It's really important.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I would try to look for some of Tomoki's stuff. I couldn't find his social media handles, but I think that I want to ask him a few questions. I mean, just from what we heard, what are some of the questions you might want to ask?
Yeah,
Tomoki?
I know
Is he gonna
Tomoki
join
is
us?
doing his Twitter also.
Oh, he's a Twitter. He has Twitter. Is
Yeah.
Twitter much more popular in Japan? I mean, actually, it's becoming a lot more popular
maybe.
because of politics now. But it seems like for
Yeah,
a long time
because-
that Twitter was starting to go down, but then it's going back up again.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're just waiting for Tomoki. We're excited to talk to him and just see what he has to say, and we won't keep him for too long because he must be tired. That was a long concerto, and he's having like 3 other interviews right now with other media outlets.
Okay.
Yeah, so it will be the last one. The last that's best for last, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm going to ask him what he ate because I'm so curious right now to see what he had.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions in the comments right now? Feel free. We're happy to answer right now before we get into Tomoki's exclusive interview. Let me just scroll a little bit to see. I think we missed a few just now. So I know we have a lot from Belgium right now. That's awesome. Private concert for Queen Mathilde. Okay. Oh, Takashi, this is a good question for you. Are you teaching?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't teach at all. Yeah, sometimes I give some lesson, but it's not my own students. And actually, my wife is a professional piano teacher, and she doesn't want to play on public, so we are doing the separate jobs. I'm
Okay,
playing,
that's
she's
good.
teaching.
That's great. Is that something you're interested in possibly pursuing in the future? Do you like teaching?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I like to play more. And teaching is a
Mhm.
very difficult task for me, I think.
Yeah. What would you say is the most difficult task about teaching for you? That's different than
Oh,
performing.
well, yeah. So for performing, I know that what I can do and what I cannot do and how I can improve. But for the students, they're the different person, different human, and they have their different sense of feeling a music and different sense of their technique. So it's very hard to tell about that.
Yeah.
But some of the teachers are very good at making the words about that. So I'm very curious about that.
I am, because I think that not sometimes the best performers don't make the best teachers, and sometimes the best teachers don't make the best performers. So it's not always, it doesn't always
Sure.
come together. There are some that are very good at doing both, and I think that is a very, very, very
Yeah.
talented skill to have. And it's
Hmm.
teaching. For those of you, I think a lot of people might assume that just teaching is teaching, but teaching is a skill and it needs to be practiced as well and needs to have a
Hmm.
plan, just like anything else. And it can be such a huge responsibility because you're giving the skills to another artist in giving and they're giving their trust to you to help them improve as well. And
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not always it's a big responsibility. So
Hmm.
I have respect for your wife.
Okay.
So
And
Tomoki is
you
going
don't
to join
teach,
us.
Timothy.
I do teach a little bit right now, and I
Okay.
do love teaching, and I'm practicing that skill. So we have Tomoki right now.
Hmm.
Let's have him join
Oh,
us. Hello, Tomoki.
Hello.
hi.
Thank you for joining us right now. How
Thank
does it
you.
feel to be done with your performance?
Well, I'm very much
Bravo.
exhausted, like performing this
Uh,
modern concerto, and then afterwards a Brahms second, which takes about like 50 minutes. It's one of the longest for the piano concerto. So, yeah, I'm very tired, but at the same time, I'm very happy playing this wonderful concerto.
It was incredible. We really, really enjoyed your performance, and
Mhm.
I personally felt like you were just. It was like so well put together with the orchestra, and you were
Mhm.
just coming in and out. And it felt like the piano wasn't even a solo instrument, which I think I understood now. It's a symphonic concerto with the piano weaving in and out of the entire piece. I mean, we have so many questions that we want to ask you, but one of them is why did you choose the second Brahms concerto for a competition final round? It's not so popular to choose that. What did you think about when you were choosing this piece to present?
Well, as you said, this concerto is very, it's not really good choice for the competition because competition is a very limited rehearsals, like, like 15 minutes rehearsals twice or something. And in this concerto, if you play through the piece, it takes about 15 minutes. So that means if you play through it, you just end up the first rehearsal or something. So it's not really great choice. But I wanted to choose this concerto because I learned this concerto with Papa de Roscoda, who I had been studied for like 10 years. And actually this piece, we worked together at the very last lesson in 2019. So that was like 3 months before his death. And so I had so many emotions in this piece, and that's the reason I chose this piece.
It was awesome. I think that's so it was so powerful. I never really heard that piece in its entirety. So thank you for giving us that opportunity. Did you feel like the performance that you performed tonight, was that up to your standards? Are you happy with it? I mean, what are your thoughts after just playing this concert?
Well, let's say like, of course, I'm some point I'm satisfied. I'm very happy with it, but at the same time, of course, I could have done better. Of course, I mean, like, if you're getting to this such a big and prestigious competition in the final, it's a quite it's a quite nervous situation, and it's a quite difficult situation, especially if you're playing this modern concerto, which you have no idea until the very last 1 week. So it's a quite difficult situation, but I still I survived somehow. Yeah.
Awesome. Takashi, do you have any questions to ask Tomoki?
Well, yes, Tomoki,
Yes.
お疲れ様. It was
ありがとうござ
marvelous.
います。
Yeah, how was your life in Chapelle? Did you enjoy?
Well, first day I was leaving from the internet, and it's like, oh my God, what shall I do for my free time? But actually, I didn't really have my free time because I'm really busy working on this new piece, and then also Brahms. I mean, like, there's so many things to do on the Brahms anyway. So I have spent quite a lot of time practicing. And then except that, I was having, I was playing like table tennis, or we even play some frisbees outside, and that was nice. I mean, like, because there are only 6 finalists this year, and it was quite intimate feelings in that place, and the food was really wonderful. I mean, like, it was like a restaurant.
Oh,
We were having
you
like
like
2
it,
meals,
yeah.
just absolutely fantastic, and it was great. Yeah.
So Tomoki, I need to ask you this
Yes.
question. So before you left the Chapelle tonight, they asked you what was the last meal the last supper. What did you ask? What did you eat?
Well, actually, it's this is the one I really requested, because we have to leave there around like 6 o'clock this evening. Well, I mean, I had to, and so that means I had to have my dinner a bit earlier. So I asked to have a pasta, and which is, it's easy to eat, and then it gives much more energy to perform. So yes, I had this kind of pasta genovese sauce with the shrimp, which was quite great. And I couldn't eat everything because it was a little bit too much, but yeah, it was a great meal. Yeah.
Yeah, we were just joking because they asked you, what do you want for your last dinner? It's like the last supper before you. It's like you're never coming back again, right? It's a bit scary.
Yeah, that's
But
true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
we really enjoyed your performance, and I heard some new things from the contemporary piece that you played today. I mean, how was that overall experience of learning that piece? Were you stressed? Did you enjoy it? Was it, oh, it's easier than I thought? Was it, oh my gosh, it's more difficult than I thought? What did you think about it?
Oh, it's very complicated feelings. I mean, like, some part I felt like, oh my God, I have to really, because this piece is it's not really, not only difficult, but it's a bit tricky, because everything is written in like one line, so you have to really divide it in 2 hands, because all the scales on the arpeggios, everything is in one line, so you have to really transcribe to 2 hands. And that was quite it took quite time, actually. And then so that was quite hard. And the first day I was like, how can I manage this in 1 week? But later on, it's getting better, and finally I could play it. So.
Sounded great. It sounded like you were so comfortable. We have a question here from a viewer. They say, Tamoki-san, did you get your cell phone back?
Well, actually, not yet. I would love to, but
Not
I have
yet.
to go back to the house. First.
What are you gonna look at once you get your cell phone?
Yeah.
Are you gonna check Facebook? Can the viewer follow you on social media? Twitter? I heard you have Twitter.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do have Twitter, Facebook, YouTube channel as well. But yes, well, I would first see the emails, because I haven't seen emails for like a week. Of course, I mean, like, so I have to check that. I mean, like, that's for sure. Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of exciting emails for you. Oh, can you please play a concert here now, or etc. Right?
I
So,
hope
all right.
so. I hope so.
I'm sure about it. Tomoki, best of luck for the next couple of days. Enjoy Brussels. Have a good time. Just relax. I think this is the first time, and I hope things start to open up a little bit there at least. So it was a beautiful performance. Takashi and I really enjoyed observing and just seeing how calm and confident you were on stage. So best of luck, and thank you so much for talking with us on Twitch.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Great. That was really nice. He seemed so calm even just speaking. That was really incredible.
Yes. He's very natural.
Yeah, I mean, his English is so good as well. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that concludes our Twitch stream for tonight. Thank you so much for everybody to watch this. It's been a real pleasure, and I hope this was fun and giving you a little behind the scenes of what really goes on in our minds before we go on stage, during on stage, after we go on stage as well. I want to thank you, Takashi, for spending the past couple of hours with me. It was really interesting to talk to you.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you. Where's the best way that our viewers can keep in touch with you? Would you say Twitter or Facebook? Which one's better to keep in touch with you with?
Yeah, for the international viewers, maybe the Facebook page will do. I sometimes put some English information there. And for the Japanese viewers, I recommend Twitter, as well as Tomoki's.
Yeah, so Facebook, Twitter, those are the places to find Takashi and Tomoki. And just to give you a bit of a foreshadowing for tomorrow, we're going to have two guests with us tomorrow. We're going to have Mariangela Vaccatello, laureate of the 2007 piano competition, and Christine Lee, who was a laureate of the 2017 cello competition. They're going to be joining us one from America, one from, I think, in Europe as well. And we're going to be here again, 8 p.m. on Twitch for the Queen Elizabeth Piano Competition final round. And if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to DM me, direct message me on Instagram, Timothy Chooi Violin, or you can just save the questions for tomorrow. So thank you so much again for joining us, everybody. Really hope you enjoyed this. And a big thank you to Takashi. And I will catch you all tomorrow again at 8 p.m. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.